These are NFL teammates who hate each other.
You gotta catch that monkey.
And another NFL player doing something gay with a teammate lost him tens of millions of dollars and got him hated. A sus situation like that came from a man known to do gay stuff like digging in players' butts, hitting the splits, pretending to kiss an NFL player, and actually giving another player a smooch. Christian Wilkins was weird for all that, so nobody was surprised that after signing a huge deal with the Raiders, he got in trouble for taking things even further with a teammate.
Christian playfully went to kiss a teammate on top of his head, and those same people said that player took offense to it.
So if that happens in a locker room and then they go and report it, that means the locker room probably didn't fuck with them.
Yeah.
And the anonymous teammate hated being kissed and hated Wilkins for acting weird as hell in the locker room. So with the Raiders not wanting hate between their players, they ended up releasing Wilkins and voiding the remaining guarantees in his contract, which lost him $35 million. But Deebo Samuel's lucky he didn't lose any money after he and his teammates' hate for each other almost started a brawl. Deebo's teammate missed not one, not two, but 3 field goals, so Deebo started talking shit to both the kicker and long snapper, then pushed one in the neck while hitting the other in the face. Instantly, the long snapper, Tabor Peppers, said, "You think he's not fucking trying, you dumbass? Fuck you." Now, that situation had Deebo definitely looking pissed on the sidelines, and their hate got dragged into the locker room when his teammate was asked about it.
What said has sort of sparked all that.
You know, he was telling him to lock in, and we know what our job is, and we got us.
But their hate definitely wasn't as deep as Tom Brady's hate for his teammate that involved Twitter and the military. Both of those had to do with NFL legend Chad Ochocinco. Because when he got traded to the Patriots, he was known as someone who cared just as much about his fame on social media as his play on the field, which was the exact opposite of Brady, who was strictly business. So whether it was Chad constantly tweeting crazy things or even offering to give his 1 millionth follower $10,000, doing all that not only had the coach call his tweets nonsense, all the distraction it caused was what made Brady hate him.
He was like the first guy with 1 million followers on Twitter in the NFL, I think.
He was. Tom absolutely hated him at first. Hated that he was on Twitter because he got traded to the New England Patriots and he's always on Twitter still. And Tom and Coach Belichick were just always grilling him like, "Oh, get off freaking Twitter. It doesn't help you."
And once other teammates of theirs revealed how Brady really felt about him, Chad exposed the entire organization for feeling like military boot camp.
There's a reason why my time there in New England that 1 year looked the way it did. For one, I couldn't be myself. I got there late, so I was already behind the 8 ball. I said I ain't never been to the Army, but if I had to give an example on what I think it would probably be like, it'd be like playing in New England. And if you don't follow in line with the Patriot way, you got to go.
And he did go. Brady hated him enough to call the shots that ruined Ocho's entire career moving forward. Because once the Patriots released Chad after just 1 season, he never played in the NFL again. But that's not as crazy as another NFL legend who didn't just hate his teammate. Their beef ended in one of them almost being killed. Something that scary happened between Michael Irvin and Everett McIver. Because with Everett being a young rookie, he had no say whatsoever in anything that happened in the locker room, especially around a veteran like Irvin.
At training camp, Everett was a new guy coming over. We had our rules and how we do things. I say, I'm a veteran, I'm next. You know, to get a haircut, and it was, no, next we're veterans. This is how we do things.
But as soon as the argument started, things turned deadly.
We got into it. He just came at me. And I'm talking about this big guy had me down and punching me out. Whoa, kind of caught me off guard. But then we got into it. And I actually grabbed a pair of scissors. "Hey, big fella, stop. Back up now. Stop. Don't do that again. Don't come up to me again." And he moved and came up, and the scissors cut him.
That situation had Everett immediately being rushed to the hospital. Here's where doctors discovered the wound was right next to an artery that was a main blood vessel, and if it got punctured, it could have killed him in seconds. That forced police to get involved and arrest Irvin. Then once his mugshot went everywhere, it seemed like one of the NFL's biggest stars was going to jail.
And I looked down, I saw that blood, I said, "Oh my God, you're going to jail." You know what I mean? You're going to jail for 10 years.
So when the Cowboys owner heard that his superstar was in some big trouble, he didn't want the man's career to be ruined over this. That's why he secretly negotiated a 6-figure settlement between the players in exchange for Everett's silence. And even though nobody would talk about the hate they clearly had for each other, Irvin eventually realized that he almost killed the man.
Met with Everett. Said, "I lost myself, brother. I'm so sorry." But, you know, he sat down, I'll never forget, he said, "Michael, you know, I know you love your kids, man. You almost took me for mine."
Thankfully, neither of their lives were ruined because of that. But if you thought that hate was deep, Patrick Mahomes and his teammate went through a whole journey of hating each other, and it eventually ended with something illegal. Mahomes' hate for his teammate, Rashee Rice, actually started in the biggest game of their lives. It was the Super Bowl. They were down 3 with just 10 seconds left when Mahomes got a low snap and was rushed into making a bad throw. Rashee was clearly pissed, knowing he was wide open for the game winner, but Mahomes never saw him. Even though they did eventually win that game anyway, it definitely didn't make their hate go away. Because during another game, Mahomes threw a stupid interception which had Rashi chasing after the guy who caught it when Mahomes dove at them to make the tackle and only hit Rashi. He was in extreme pain, eventually carted off, and diagnosed with a torn ACL that forced him to miss the entire season. And just when everyone figured their hate for each other only would involve plays on the football field, Mahomes would prove how much he hated Rashi one more time after the NFL world was hit with some crazy breaking news.
Investigators say Rice was speeding last month in a Lamborghini when the vehicle was struck by the Corvette Knox was driving. It caused a huge crash, 6 cars in all with a total of 8 people involved. And police say both Rice and Knox were traveling more than 116 miles an hour just before the crash. Rashi and Knox face 8 felony charges, the most severe, aggravated assault.
Now, a car crash in a situation like that not only got Rashi 30 days in jail and 5 years of probation, he was suspended by the NFL for 6 games, which had Mahomes pissed, knowing dude's selfish actions would hurt their team. So not long after Rashi was scheduled to finally make his return, while all other players in the Chiefs wore shirts before a game that said "Free 4" to support him, Mahomes was not wearing that and came out in a normal fit. But why wouldn't he? Mahomes and Rashi hate each other. But at least they didn't take things as far as Antonio Brown, because he hated Ben Roethlisberger so much, he got freaky with his sister, which is crazy because at first they were good friends and had undeniable chemistry on the field where they both were superstars. But AB started feeling like he was getting a little too good for Ben, who would make mistakes like this bad throw to a player who was covered when AB ran a perfect route and was wide open for a touchdown. That had Mans crashing out before that term was even popular, which led to him flipping a Gatorade jug and almost fighting his coach. So afterwards, Ben made headlines for saying AB caused a needless distraction and that things are much deeper than throwing a temper tantrum. So even former teammates of theirs knew AB hearing that was about to make him pissed.
Said if Ben called me out on a radio show the next day, I would literally walk up to him in the locker room and say, man, like, don't do that. Keep my name out of your mouth.
But even after all of that, the hate for each other was only about to get crazier, especially after a game where they were trying to make a comeback versus the Broncos. Ben didn't just throw a game-losing interception while trying to target AB. He ended up blaming it on him for running the wrong route. At this point, AB was fed up and definitely wasn't going to let Ben make him look bad, so he fired back.
The good dude called me out, we lose a game, he like, damn, AB should have ran the better route.
Why would Ben do that?
That's the type of guy he is. He feel like he the owner. Bro, you threw this shit to the D-line, man. How the fuck I'm gonna run the better route? You need to give me a better ball. If it don't matter how I feel, then fuck it then, where I'm here, you know what I'm saying?
So once the world heard that, the Steelers knew they hated each other too much to repair any relationship and traded AB away. But even though he bounced around different teams for years and eventually ended up becoming a crazy Twitter troll, his hate for Ben never went away, which is why in 2025, he tweeted something insane. AB really said, Ben Roethlisberger's still mad I subscribed to FieldFlix before him. Alright, even though you should subscribe, he didn't say that. He really said, Ben Roethlisberger's still mad his sister sucked my dick. 2011 Pro Bowl. Oh my god, he's crazy for that. But just taking a look at Ben's sister, yeah, AB can never, I'd never hit that. But alright, the hate between Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey was way different because it actually involved Jake Paul and could turn into a boxing match. Listen, before they were even teammates, their hate actually started before they faced off in a game. Tyreek said, he's alright, I guess. I mean, I can't wait to line up against him. I hope he presses me. But Ramsey didn't like anyone calling him out and quickly responded.
I mean, if you look at my film, what do I do every week? I play press, right? Every week, no matter who I'm playing. So if you want smoke, it'll get there.
Now, once he said that, Tyreek just had to show Ramsey who the boss was during the game by getting plenty of catches and burning him for a long play. So, getting beat like that obviously made Ramsey want revenge. That's why during the Pro Bowl's non-tackle flag football game, he completely trucked Tyreek onto his ass. Doing that is why Tyreek really started getting pissed. That's why when he was eventually on Jake Paul's podcast, he called Ramsey's ass out.
Can you fight?
Of course, bro.
Whose ass would you beat? Just be honest. Like, this is the show where we talk shit.
Yeah, I really want some of Jalen Ramsey though, for real.
Okay. Okay.
If we just being completely honest right here.
Why not?
Like, I just want to go at the bully.
But, alright, as cocky as Tyreek seemed about the idea, things got real when Ramsey wasn't just traded to the Dolphins and became teammates with Tyreek. Tyreek quoted one of Ramsey's tweets saying, if you hit me like you did in that flag game, we fighting. So now Ramsey also wanted to beat Tyreek's ass.
Would you fight somebody? Because did you see Tyreek Hill talking shit on this show?
Yeah, about me.
And now you're on the same team?
You know, it's crazy. I lock it right next to each other, too.
Would you actually fight him?
Yeah, I mean, money right. I do. Go
like
against
in
each
summer
other.
camp, are you guys gonna get it in one-on-one?
Oh,
Are you gonna beat him into the ground if you have to?
Yeah.
Now, alright, I'm not gonna lie, I'd definitely pay to see that boxing match, but their hate for each other must have been causing other issues than just wanting to fight, because Ramsey ended up getting traded away, which kinda reminds me of Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs' hate for each other that got Diggs kicked off his team. Nobody, I repeat, nobody imagined that would happen to one of the NFL's biggest stars, a player who was paired with Josh for one goal, to win multiple Super Bowls together. But since they'd constantly make it deep into the playoffs just to lose, it started making Diggs feel like maybe Josh was the issue. In one playoff game, you could see the lack of chemistry and frustration built up between them on the field. It caused them to get blown out at home and had Diggs screaming at Josh on the sidelines. Now, who knows what crazy names he called Josh, but the moment was heated enough for Diggs to tweet about his frustration with the situation, which instantly had sports shows talking about their beef.
I think it's clear this is a personal thing between Josh and Diggs.
From there, the hate between them only grew, especially in their first game of the new season. It was tied going into overtime where Diggs was already yelling at Josh again. Then, all because they weren't able to convert a crucial play which caused them to eventually lose, things got absolutely heated in the locker room.
And Josh Allen was sitting there in full uniform with Kyle Allen trying to console him, and a stream of players coming up, patting him on the back, dapping him up. They were trying to pick the guy up. He had a towel draped over his head, and he just sat there. One thing I didn't include in the story was Stefon Diggs coming up to him after the game. As I recall, I didn't include it because I didn't know what Stefon Diggs said to him. But Josh Allen snapped at him, and he said, "It's one game," and kind of motioned like, "I'm not talking to you here."
Nobody ever saw a motion like that from Josh. So all that, combined with yet another disappointing loss in the playoffs that season, the Bills knew Josh and Diggs' hate for each other would never lead to a Super Bowl. So they straight up got rid of Diggs and traded his ass away, which eventually got Josh asked if he missed him.
At any point during camp, miss Stefon? Miss is I don't know if I'd say miss.
But alright, once he said that, fans definitely anticipated their first matchup against each other. But here's where Diggs completely went off and led his new team to a win. But even though in the end it looked like they just innocently hugged after the game, all people could talk about is how they noticed Diggs actually gave Josh a nasty side eye to show the world that he still hates him.